Hello, welcome to finally another gaming episode. It is I, Ponu, and my squire cat. We're playing a cute little game today that I found on TikTok called Our Life Now and Forever. Yeah, let's get into it. New game. Welcome to the Our Life Now and Forever intro demo. It's a 25k word. Oh my god, 25k word preview that includes the first few scenes of the game's prologue. Expansions and improvements to the game will come out as time goes on. For example, the finished version will have partial voice acting. Oh, that's cool. This initial demo doesn't have any voiced lines. When the game is complete, the entire story will be playable from start to end for free. However, optional paid DLCs will be available to add in even more scenes. The very start is a brief tutorial that will be skippable on future playthroughs. It will help you get acquainted with all the many ways your choices can impact how the game plays. At any time, you can press the Pref button on the left side of the green screen to open the settings page and make the experience better suited for you. You can change the text size, font style, yada yada. Story of our life now forever spans 12 years with the character you play at the beginning as a 10-year-old child and ending as a 22-year-old adult. In between those points are two other stages of life, 14-year-old adolescence and 18-year-old adulthood. These time periods are referred to as steps 1 through 4. This demo only contains scenes from childhood. You'll be able to determine all the player character, name, appearance, personality, pronouns, skills, weaknesses, act, feel, and more. No, these change the world before the game. However, don't be forgotten. We are viewers remember the game characters meet. Push the step 1 and step 4 and step 4. Go together. We'll like two other meet like the point on the road. There are also two characters who will roll alongside your own character. Tamarack, Balman, and Quilin. You'll have being a friend, so you know you're your time zone. You're customizable progress whatever you want to if you want to. A couple things can do like take them both or break up one after together. You can only make partners tournaments. Tamarack is a little girl here, and she always finds out. Please roll that most likely got sped up in editing. Hey, this is the child. Yeah. Alright, we finally made it to the gameplay. It looked like fall here in Golden Grove, more than any place you'd seen before. It could be in one of your old picture books to show little kids what autumn used to be. Ever since the world went dark, we haven't seen a single leaf. There weren't any green trees or bushes, but there weren't just bare branches yet. It was almost the same as normal. All that had changed were the colors: red, orange, yellow, brown, and crimson. Even the blue of the sky high above your head seemed different than it did in the summer. It wasn't as bright either, as though it had gotten tired of sparkling by this late in this year. Or like it was even farther away from you now that you were in this place. The plants' sky didn't get this way where you lived. Where you used to live. Your thoughts continued to jump around while you stood there in the big circle of street at the end of the road. It was a weird path to you. It couldn't take you ahead or to the sides or anywhere else like most streets you'd gone down. But this one only came right where here with those big houses. Oh crap, I accidentally skipped a few. It had been a picture book to you until this day. You knew that it felt like fall here too because it was cold outside. Chilly enough that you sometimes held your eyes closed for a few seconds longer than usual to try keeping your eyeballs from feeling like they were going to freeze inside your head. This was a real place. The icy air surrounding you said, and you were really in it. And it was where you were going to stay. That was new. Your mama and you had lived in apartments before, and never for very long each time. That wasn't. Hey mom, I'm just gonna stay in here an extra few years. You're welcome. That was until she'd gotten a big job in this not that big town and bought a big house. You wouldn't be going anywhere else for a long time. Now in that moment, you couldn't imagine being there forever, but that's just the way it was. The old tan house at the very end of the long road, round road, was now your house. Standing tall with two others by its sides. These buildings were homes too. choice. It seemed okay to you. You felt kind of mixed up inside. You were super excited. She's very excited. Nothing was gonna be boring anymore. No, we're gonna be nice to our mom. We have so much fun together. Regan, come on over. Do you want to do the mom voice? Good. You could also just speak. Oh, that was your mama's voice. You hadn't noticed she'd gotten so far. And I'm the voice in Regan's head. I'm the spirit of her dead father. Woo. He wasted no time catching up in order to reunite with her. Off the cul-de-sac. Why is this supposed to be dashed like that? Isn't it just a word? Quite literally. Off the cul-de-sac road and what were you saying? And cutting across lines of grass and sidewalk, you reached the picket fence your mom had called from. The gate was unlocked. Unlike the other houses, in front of yours was a tiny gray stone walkway that led up to a couple little steps and no steps up to the door. Your house is superior. You walked along the private path, making sure each foot landed squarely on a rock and not on one of the dark cracks of chain until you arrived at the end of the line. Good job, you didn't die by stepping on the ground. Imagine if that was real, like you just exploded when you didn't step on like the line of a sidewalk. Then you hopped up the tiny stairs to stand beside your mama. Okay, so it is like just something around her neck. And there your mama was, standing at the edge of the porch, arms folded and waiting. She must have been moving around before because the shiny opal earrings she had on were twisting from side to side a little bit. You knew they were real opal stones because she told you before when she first got them. She also told you a long time ago that her normal name, not Mama, was Opal. Her clothes were the colors of a cloudy day after rain had already come and gone. The kind of day that could be cold and bad or really relaxing and comfy. It depended. You wondered which way she looked at it from. You didn't know. The rest of her, though, was so much more bold, especially the matching purpley cranberryness of both her hair and eyes. There weren't a lot of things out in the world with that color that could feel gloomy. Mama smiled at you. It made you feel as soft and warm on the inside as your mama was on the outside. Nathaniel. Speak. Not eagerly. Which much longer? The real estate agent should be here to hand over the keys in a couple hours or so. Jesus, you have to be there that long? And then, oh wait. I just read your line. How could I? You shifted your weight from one foot to the other. This was a big deal to your mama. Her whole life was changing too. You hoped it wouldn't be a mistake. You didn't want your mama to be sad. You're dying so bad. She bent down, placing her hands on her knees in order to speak directly to you on the same level. Yo, mama, get on my level. Widen fear. Oh god, other people. She's not crazy excited, but she's like, yo, let's go. Speak. Oh, Wi-Fi's dying. Yes, mama. I'm just gonna spare our viewers and just say the lines because you keep glitching out. Thank you, I trust you. With that, you flipped around, bounded down the steps, and broke your skull on the rocks. The end. And went back on towards the sidewalk, ready to explore. We're gonna meet the other kids. Prologue. Your shoes really squished into the dirt part when you crossed from where you were down to the solid road. The smell of the grass and rain-softed ground, crisp though somehow also kind of musty, hung in the air, bringing a whole new year of school with it. Oh crap, do we have to go to school? You were going to be a 5th grader. It would be completely different from being just a 4th grader, and not just because you'd be attending a new school. You'd be in the highest grade of the place. Maybe that was why your mom was so sure you could do this by yourself. You were growing up. It felt good knowing there was more and more out there that you'd be able to explore on your own. Then, before you took one more step, you were destroyed. The end. Exploded to smithereens. There was a faint tap against your shoulder. It was barely stronger than the wind, but it was definitely something. It was completely out of nowhere. It was kind of weird. You slowly glanced down to the left, the right, and left, trying to get any idea of where the poke could have come from. No one was there. The neighborhood was empty except for you. Oh god, it is her dead dad. You would have settled on it being a mystery forever if you hadn't noticed there was a thing left behind from the encounter. Sitting there in between the muddy brown blades of glass was something new. Oh, that's what hit us. Oh, Regan's actually speaking. A paper airplane? Who would have thrown this at a stranger, and why would they disappear after doing it? As you considered those questions, your gaze shifted back towards the right, the side of the street where the tap came from. Whoever sent this to you had to have gone that way. You crouched down to grab it, wanting to get some kind of answer to what had happened. The paper didn't feel the same crinkly, crackly way most normal paper did. It was thicker, somehow, almost like a piece of cloth. It was cottony. That wasn't the only part that stood out. The page was a tan color with dark brown lines, not white and blue or white and black or something regular. More questions started to the confusion. Where would paper like that have come from? You turned the paper airplane around in your hands and squinted your eyes keenly. There were pencil markings on the other side. The paper had scribbles, or maybe even words on it. There was enough of a sign to undo the shape someone had put together. You pulled out the flaps of the plane and flattened it out between your palms as best you could. It was true. The paper airplane had a message on it. Well, maybe, you thought. There were some words on it, but not a lot, and they were on different lines from each other. You read over each tiny part from top to bottom. Hello. Go out. Hide out. And then in the bottom corner was my name. Your name? It had been addressed to you personally. There was no mistake that you were the one meant to get that flame. You scrunched up your face, and a person wrote stuff on a piece of paper, turned it into a paper airplane, threw it at another person, and the message they sent was that? Yeah, this is a mystery worth solving. Maybe the words were a code you had to break. We're We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Someone or something had to have sent this to you. You weren't going to stop until you found out who and why. Past the parts where the light shone through the clouds and the parts where it got darker, you began your investigation by heading in the same direction the paper had hit you from. The half circle of houses was out of sight by the time the normal sidewalk ended, and it really ended. Instead of connecting to another street with homes or stores, there was the car road behind you and a bunch of trees and plain ground in front. Going down the road would have to bring you to the rest of the town eventually, but you were sure that you would be straying too far, like your mama warned against. That was okay. You had other options. Bending in between the dark trunks and bright leaves were two lines stamped out through the grass. They went in opposite directions. It was a crossroads. One led more towards where the neighborhood was, but back farther out on the edge of where the forest started. The other went completely into the trees, a walking path for the people who lived there. You stood there at the start of this turning point in the woods in your life, feet poised to move over the stirring thicket floor. I know exactly which one. I'm smart. There was a path here that was definitely more worth trying than the other. You were sure of it. Something on the inside just told you so. I'm gonna get on the walking path because that's where people walk. Once you went through the foresty path, you had truly entered the wild woods. Nothing else surrounded you any longer. I feel like this is also go straying a little too far, but okay. Nature spread across the land with the narrow dirt line and fence being the only sign. Anyone had walked in this spot before you. Oh, okay, cool grammar. People were only visitors here. Golden and red leaves gently rustled against each other in thick clumps with each tree's branches flowing into the others nearby. It was enough to keep the sky and sun out almost completely, but the leaves burned bright with the light passing over them from above. The foot-made passes continued to twist around up higher into the mountainside, farther than you could see. This was your kind of place. The forest. Yeah, forest girl. With your what? What? Talking about Regan. Yeah. With your wide, wondrous gaze thrown every which way. Oh boy, there's a delay between us. You let yourself flow deeper into the thicket. The quiet bubble that existed here in the forest, away from the town, popped from a sudden unnatural clatter. You stopped. Quick, I'm gonna actually stop. I'm gonna quickly do thing. Okay. Welcome back, Cat. Hopefully we're no longer delayed in voicing. It was a whooshing, thumping, and stirring above the leaves, like something had crashed into them. You knew for sure that that wasn't the wind. It had to have been an animal or a person, and it came from right over there. Yeah, just throw a stick. While keeping your gaze trained forward, you bent down and felt around for a good-sized branch or something else that you'd be able to throw far, but still have enough weight to get through the trees. Once you wrapped your fingers around a chunk of bark that had worked, you stretched your arm back behind your head and then threw the stick in front of you. It flung forward and noisily disappeared into the brush. You couldn't see where it landed, the leaves swallowing it up whole. But that's all that happened. Nothing jumped out at you. It just got quiet again. Did we, kill a kid?